I can't believe it actually took me 5 whole years to figure this out. My name is Aaron. I'm on a journey to earning $30,000 a month, and part of this journey is getting physically fit, which honestly, it has been pretty hard to stay consistent until I tried one of the most obvious yet overlooked solution. I would always go through this phase where I'm really motivated, I work out for a month or two, then I stop for a few months and start working out again for a month, and the cycle just keeps repeating. I'm sure you click on this video because you have the same issue as I do. You know you should be working out consistently, but it's just too hard to stay disciplined. Well, I'm glad I finally found a solution that works for me, and I hope it will work for you too. Also, if you are someone who is constantly busy and don't have time to work out, I will also try my best to explain how I reduce my workout sessions without sacrificing them gains. Alright, so if you're anything like me, you probably have tried changing the day or time of your workout session, maybe trying bodyweight exercises or lifting weights. You have tried many different hacks, but the habit of exercising simply doesn't stick. Well, the simplest solution is having a friend. Wait, hold on, hear me out. I know you might be hearing this solution and thought as if it's that easy, or maybe for some of you, you might be saying that's insanely hard. How am I going to bring my one imaginary friend Jack to the gym? Jokes aside, if your first thought was wanting to prove me wrong that this solution doesn't work without trying it, first of all, think about why would you want this solution to not work? Just so you have an excuse to make yourself better, but then nothing changes? Ignore the fact that I'm probably weaker and smaller than you, but try to really understand and focus on your why instead. Why do you want to make this change? Is it for health? To improve your appearance? To prove your imaginary friend wrong? An example that I heard that was truly life-changing is if someone asks you, what are the chances of you earning $1 million this year? We would probably say 0% or 1%, but what if we go a little more extreme? What are the chances of you earning $1 million this year if all your loved ones will die because you didn't achieve it? If you aren't a psychopath, all of a sudden we would say the chances of us reaching that specific goal is 100%. So what has changed? The goal didn't change, the time frame didn't change, the only thing that changed was your why. So ask yourself, why do you want to have this habit? I personally believe that there are no right or wrong whys. Who cares if you don't care about your health and you're only exercising because you want to look good? Or you are exercising because you want to be stronger than your friends, or you got rejected and you want to make that person that probably don't care about you anyways regret not choosing you. The point is your why might be negative, but as long as it fuels you to start working out, you'll be forced to do what is required, like eating healthy, pushing yourself, basically reaping all the benefits of exercising regardless of your so-called negative why. And your why will probably change to something positive eventually too. Okay, that's a bit of a rant that I went through, but this is more of a reminder for myself too. Anyways, back to the solution. So a few tips that could help you determine who is best to start this journey with you. First, make sure that the person has somewhat the same style of training as you. What do I mean by that? For example, if you are someone that wants to lift weights as your training, you don't want someone that prefers bodyweight training instead, because the location, the training frequency, a lot of things will be different compared to you. I personally have tried working out with someone that just wants to walk on the treadmill for 1 hour and it isn't fun at all. You're both just kind of in the same space and you'll be better off going by yourself. Second, this is personal preference, but I find it easier when I went with someone that is around the same fitness level as I am. Because then you can have some healthy competition between the two of you, like competing who is lifting more weights or who is progressing faster, so you're essentially pushing each other to improve. And finally, the most important of all, keep nagging your friends until they give in. When the time and place is right, plus the constant nagging from you, then they are forced to go with you. For my friend, I have tried to ask him multiple times to go to a certain gym with me, but it never worked because he is a busy guy and the location doesn't really align that well. But he recently moved to a condo and there is literally a gym inside the building, so there are no more excuses. 10 out of 10 would recommend risking your friendship to get a gym partner. Not friendship advice, don't sue me if you lost your only friend, if you have any friends. Okay, that joke is getting a little bit old, but it's still funny though. Also, you might have some concerns like, what if that friend stopped going with you? Will you then lose your exercising habit? Don't worry, once it becomes a habit and you see some progress, you'll eventually want to go by yourself as well. Alright, so if you are the person who don't have time to work out, this is what I will do to reduce my time in the gym. Side note, this is not for you if you are working a long time, 16 hours a day in a construction site. I'm sure you have seen those comments every time someone recommended to exercise. I don't know how those people still have time to scroll through their feed and commenting on every single exercise video. Anyways, the first tip is going to be a little controversial, but after trying out calisthenics, which basically means bodyweight exercises for pretty much my whole life, after switching to weight training, I realized that calisthenics actually takes longer. And I don't mean it's because calisthenics is harder to do, but it's because you always have to find new exercises to challenge yourself. For example, if you're able to do push-ups already and you do it consistently, in a few months or even just few weeks, you might already have to start doing really high reps of push-ups to challenge your muscle, which is extremely a huge waste of time. So since you can't add weights easily to make it more challenging, you then have to maybe do decline push-ups or maybe do archer push-ups. There's just constant research needed to find the sweet spot of the exercising being a little challenging while not taking too much of your time. Plus, if you haven't exercised before in your life, I don't know why people recommended calisthenics as the start, because actually calisthenics is a lot harder. Most people can't even do a single pull-up, so the alternative would be using resistance band, which starts getting very complicated. So because of that, unless you are someone that is only interested in having a specific body weight skill, weight training is probably best for most people. All you have to do is just pick a few exercises, increase the rep or weights, and you're done for the rest of your life. Maybe not the most efficient and fun way to grow because there's no variety, but it works if you really want to. Alright, the next thing is quite obvious, but I just want to get it out of the way, is to have an actual routine. Set the days and time that you have to exercise and actually plan your sessions before working out. Don't start your workout session with you thinking about what exercise you want to do that day. And you're probably hearing this and think, yeah, this is common sense, but you'll be surprised to see that a lot of people don't actually have a routine. So please plan first before you start. Speaking of planning, there are generally 4 popular splits that you can choose based on your desires. Workout split just means dividing your workout routine so you can hit every muscle in the span of multiple days. There is the full body split, which pretty much just work on every single muscle for 2 to 3 times a week. I personally don't like this because it's way too tiring for me to do all of it in one single day. Then there is the push-pull leg splits, where you only do pushing exercises for one day, pull for one day, and leg for one day. To get the most out of this split, you have to do it 6 times a week. This is actually quite good, but it isn't ideal for me either, because if I miss a day, it's pretty hard to make up for the missed day. Also, because you're doing 6 times a week, you'll be spending more time to prepare for the workout session itself, like changing your clothes, driving to the gym, cooling down, and such. So it really just adds up on the time as well. The third split is the bro split. Forget about this, I have no idea what's going on here. Finally, there is the upper-lower split, which is my personal favorite. You are basically doing your upper body for one day, which is your push and pull, then another day doing your leg and maybe abs. It's nice because you only have to do 4 days per week and the workout session isn't too long either. So it's just a sweet spot for me. But if you're someone that is extremely busy, the best would definitely be the full body workout for 2 to 3 times a week. There was the day where I was rushing to finish my workout, which forced me to reduce my rest time, and I was actually shocked to see that my performance did not drop while saving a whole 30 minutes during my session. It just means that most of the time I spend resting is actually not necessary and can be reduced significantly. Plus, you would also get a cardio workout by resting lesser, killing 2 stones with 1 bird. So do make sure that you're resting just enough to push your next set. This last tip is more technical, but you can try using supersets. It's basically doing the exercises that works on different muscles without resting in between. For example, you will do a set of bench press and immediately do a set of pull-ups after. Then you rest for a while and repeat. This works very well because the bench press and pull-ups works completely different muscle, which means that when you are doing your pull-ups, the muscle used during your bench press will be resting and vice versa. So you're basically reducing the rest time even further while being able to perform the exact same. The only limiting factor will be your cardiovascular health, so you just have to rest appropriately. If you heard superset and you thought of Superman, no, it's not Superman from Marvel. And if you have tried out all these tips and you still do not have time, do watch this short video from Dr. Mike, who is very good at all this sports science stuff.
One of the most common questions I get is, how many hours a day do you work out? Which is really like 8 hours a week. And this is to do this insane thing for people just trying to be fit and healthy, etc. We're talking about a sum total of 1 hour per week, split into 2 or 3 20-ish minute sessions.
So from my understanding, you still can get amazing results from doing your workout session, even if you have to make it extremely short. This might be a bit contradictory from what I have said, but click on this video to see how did going to the gym made me weaker. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.